Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today, we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a pop-color woman who actually came out to say that Beyonce's album is very boring. Now, I want you all to understand that this album is it's something that mostly dedicated to Black people, Black women, and all that. And it was her bringing history back to Black people and reminding them about their history, upholding and teaching Black history also, right? And also making I think the Southerner, I don't know if it's Southerners or the Northerners, like, making the country music, making them feel like, you all really have something to listen to. So somebody actually woke up to say that it's boring and it does not deserve to win album of the year and all that. I mean, Grammy is how many months away, and some people are already started canceling her because they do not want her to win that for reason best known to them, right? So she actually specifically said that Blackbird is very boring, according to her. And why is it boring? Because history failed a lot of people. Some people did not learn about CRT and does not know anything about it. So for that reason, how are you supposed to understand that this song was actually made for Black people to also understand more about their history and get to understand? Because it was saying that the Blackbird is singing in the dead of the night, and they take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. And if you connect it, it's talking about civil rights era. Let's get into this video.
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad because music is subjective. First, I'll say what I liked about it. I thought it was sonically cool. The same way like Pink Floyd is sonically cool. Kind of like when you watch a band from the 70s just jam for like 3 hours. That's what I felt like was happening in every. This is what I didn't like about it. One, I felt like every song was kind of all over the place. Even parts I liked of one song were only there for like a second and then it went into something completely different. That song, yeah, I liked that song. That was a good vibe. But it was like by the end of it, I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? The covers, in my opinion, abysmal. First of all, neither cover was good for her vocal range. That it just like didn't showcase her voice enough. It was kind of like boring. If you're not gonna go ape shit, like why even cover it? Like if you're not gonna make it Beyonce-ish, then why even do it? Like, Blackbird was just straight up boring, I'm sorry. And Jolene, best part of Jolene is Dolly Parton's vulnerability, begging someone not to take her man. Like that's why the song's so powerful, because it's raw and emotional like that. Like turning it into a bad bitch anthem, I was just like, well, this takes away the whole point of the song, A. And B, Julia Banks tweeted, and I don't usually agree with her, but she was like, why does she keep making up that people are after Jay-Z? Like, no one wants your man. People had a problem with Jolene because they were like, why is Beyonce always blaming the woman for going after her cheating husband? Why don't you blame your cheating husband? The song is a story. Like, I don't really care about that, even though, yeah, your husband is kind of Chet. Besides that, I just found the cover boring. And I also found, like, a lot of, like, reductive, simple concepts in, like, genres are a crazy thing. Haha. Like, I know she had that experience at the Country Music Awards, and I totally agree. She should clap back to that. And I think, of course, you can make a country album. I just don't think this album was that good. I think it's gonna get a lot of radio play. I don't think a lot of the songs are catchy enough. I think a lot of them are kind of just all over the place, drawn too long. I think Texas Hold'em was good. Bodyguard was good. I liked Eagle Desert too. But out of 27 songs, bored a lot of the time, and a lot of the hooks, I was just like, oh, I wish this hook was better. I also just feel like you have every songwriter in the world working for you, because like if you go on Instagram, all these songwriters aren't her. They're posting all their songs that they got onto this album. I think the choices could have been better and stronger. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I think about the fact that you'll have like a no-name country artist come out with like an epic song, it's viral on TikTok, and it's like, why didn't she get that song? Or why didn't she get a song at least as good as that song? Wait, this is all to say that I foresee there being anger if this album doesn't win like album of the year or whatever. Besides the fact that it's ambitious and interesting, I don't think it's good enough to be album of the year. I think she probably had a better chance of winning album of the year if she chose better songs and made the track list shorter. I listened to it twice through yesterday because I was like because sometimes when you listen to it a second time, you're like, oh, this was actually good. And that just didn't happen for me. Obviously respect her, love the ambition, love, a country. I liked Riverdance too, actually. I thought, and the last thing I'll say, like lyrically, there were so many lyrics where she just goes, like bucket, dance, drop it, whatever. I'm like, say something else. Anyway, I won't listen to that album all the way through again. And I listened to all of her albums all the way through. To say that she can't make a better country music album in the future. Like, I think she could do country. I just don't think these songs were strong enough. Okay. I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad.
Some people can only recognize the catchy tune, while a lot of us really love album cohesion and the storytelling behind it. Beyonce opened up with American Requiem to talk about how painful it was being on that CMA stage and how the country music industry didn't accept her. And then from there she went into Blackbird, a cover song where she featured 4 black female country music artists. The song was originally written for the Little Rock Nine during the Civil Rights Movement. And basically what she's saying to the 4 artists on her song is, hey, I know how painful it is to try to make it in the country music world. The music industry is tough. The country music industry is especially tough as a black woman. And then she goes into 16 Carriages to talk about her struggles of getting through the music industry and finding success. Not only that, balancing life, and life is a struggle. Then she goes into Protector to say, hey, Rumi, you know what? I'm going to be your protector throughout life when you go through these struggles, because everything beautiful has its thorns, like a rose, my rose, but you didn't get...
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad.
Every well-established music critic I've ever come across has said you can't just critique an album within the first few days of it being out. You can't. You need to really sit with it, listen to it over and over, listen to the lyrics, read the lyrics, etc., right? Before coming to a final conclusion. And even then, your conclusion could still change over time based on the public's reaction. You understand? I don't know how music works. I'm just a consumer, but I believe them because so many of them are saying it. They all can't be making shit up. They all agree on this one thing. It takes time. This person that I'm stitching put out a review for the album and her thoughts on it being album of the year within like 36 hours of the album being released. There are 27 tracks, including interludes, on that album. Let me check, hold on. Yeah, it's 27. So this person posted a review that they're not budging on. Not even a little bit, not even with nuance, not even considering maybe it's not for them, etc., right? Within 36 hours, 27 tracks within 36 hours, and already discussing whether or not it's going to be album of the year. That's not how that works. No one listens to the album the first time and says, oh yeah, this is album of the year. And if you do that, you should stop. Stop doing that. Just listen to the music and enjoy it. Appreciate it for what it is, and then come to a conclusion later. Like everyone else. Not everyone else, but you should be doing that. We all should be doing that. I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's really strange. There's 27 songs on, including interludes, on the album, and she posted that within 36 hours.
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive,
we do not care. Her album was not made for you. It was made for people that look like me. So go sit back, kick your feet up, and go listen to some Taylor Swift.
right. If you're not going to go ape shit, like, why even cover it? Like, if you're not going to make it Beyonce-ish, then why even do it? Like,
maybe I'm tweaking, but her saying, if you're not going to go ape shit and sound like Beyonce, that didn't feel right somewhere right here. Like, I don't know, you could have used, like, a different verbiage, a different, like, a comparison. Like, I don't know. Also, please tell me right now what the fuck Beyonce sounds like, because I bet if you tell me what the fuck she's supposed to sound like, it's gonna be a microaggression. Because what the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck is Beyonce supposed to sound like?
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad.
As another girly who has never been afraid of sharing her opinion, all of the things you're not supposed to talk about at a polite dinner, religion, politics, sex, all of that I have talked about and shared my opinions on, gotten into numerous arguments on and off the internet, okay? I've never been one to shy away from a debate. So with all that in mind, I do think that we need to exit the era of that's my opinion and all opinions are valid, and enter into the era of that might be my opinion, but does my opinion need to be shared in this moment? Is my opinion actually adding to the discourse occurring in this conversation? Because no tea, no shade, from top to bottom of this video, everything that came out of your mouth came off as a microaggression simply because of how you started off this video. Starting off this video saying nobody get angry at me if you're in the Beehive scroll because I didn't like Beyonce's new album, when you know the majority of Beyonce's audience is Black and is Black women, and we are always getting labeled with the angry Black woman trope. Yeah, I didn't like that. And then to go in on your review of this beautifully crafted love letter to Black Southern music and saying that it's boring or lyrically lazy, how am I, as a Black woman from Texas, meant to take that? How else am I meant to take that as anything other than you dissing my culture? Because that's what this album is. This is a love letter to Black people that have been entirely shut out from the country and Americana genre. Our contributions to that genre go wholly unrecognized for years, for decades, since its inception. But because you are the funny, quippy ally girl that just tells it to everybody straight, you feel like you have the space and the wherewithal to share your opinion on this album on the internet. Again, if you are an ally that you on some of your other videos try to come off as, you would know that this album and Beyonce's foray into this, the whole reason why she even came into this with her act at the CMAs with Daddy Lessons, the way that she was treated there, the way that white people are acting about Texas Hold'em and about 16 carriages all up and down the internet. And you still decided to post something like this. Look, this is not me saying that you have to love Beyonce's new album or you're a racist or anything like that. That's ridiculous, okay? Ridiculous. But sometimes things don't need to be shared publicly. Sometimes you can just sit this one out, especially when the majority of what's being shared on this app about this album, across social media about this album, is the joy from Black Southerners finally feeling like our culture is being more widely accepted as beautiful music, as real, beautiful cultural storytelling that is worthy of praise and awards. I mean, you had people in your comments saying, well, it's not for you. And you were commenting back saying, yes, I can tell that. But if you can tell that, then why are you still publicly sharing your opinion? Again, you can have that opinion, and obviously you can share your opinion. It's just like, should you? Should you be sharing this opinion publicly? I just think there's a lot of, that just need to read the room a bit more and realize your voice isn't always needed. Not only is it not always needed, it's not always welcome. We didn't invite it. So maybe sit this one out.
Because they were like, why is Beyonce always blaming the woman for going after her cheating husband? Why don't you blame your cheating husband?
Okay, I'm about to go to work right now, but I just really wanted to quickly get on here and, let her know what the hell is going on when it comes to Jolene specifically on this album and its purpose. This song makes me so happy. Okay, so Dolly Parton introduces the song, Hey Honey Bee, which also kind of ties back into when Beyonce and Lady Gaga did their collab together in the music video. Lady Gaga called her Honey Bee. So basically, Jay-Z is kind of echoing. And there's like an echo chamber of Jay-Z saying, Jolene, kind of warning her like, bitch, you better run. That's how I interpreted it. He's like, Jolene, get out of here, bitch. Like, Beyonce's coming. And I feel like we have watched, as the Beehive, we have watched them in their relationship in the studio, though. Like, Beyonce is prime example of take it to the studio, take it to the booth, like sing it there, like tell your problems there, don't take it to social media, take it to the studio. Because we're talking about, we're coming from the Lemonade era, where she very much did address Jay-Z many times. Many times. I'm talking about, of course, sometimes shit goes down and there's $1 billion on the elevator. We're talking about that is the context going into Jolene. It's not that we're just taking away the begging and the pleading. It's the fact that we're adding the context of $1 billion on the elevator. And then on top of that, you also have the dynamic of Beyonce and Jay-Z doing the Carters together, talking about lucky I and kill you when I'm at that. Exactly. And then within the context of the album, right after Jolene, she sings Daughter. Storytelling wise, that is one of the most beautiful transitions on the album for me, because your dress is covered in blood, you're black and bruised, because she's talking about Jolene, because you didn't stay away from her man, and now you are the one black and bruised and beat the fuck up and on the floor, and Beyonce's going to the bathroom, and the bathroom attendant is a fan, so she just lets her walk through. She's not gonna tell nobody. She's a fan. Beyonce needs to clean off the blood on her hands, because she is her father's daughter. And the storytelling, because in American Requiem, she kind of like leans into the fact that, like, you know, oh no, not American Requiem, because in 16 Carriages she leans into the fact that her father did lie, and she did have to take control of that situation away from him, and it was very scary for her. But at the same time, her father was a grinder, and he put her, he set her up for success, and she acknowledges that, and she took the power away from him eventually. But that's the same energy she's bringing to this Jolene lady. You're not about to walk around here and act like I'm not the Creole Banshee bitch from Louisiana, bitch. Like, I know I'm a queen. I know. Bow down, bitch. Like, there needs to be so much context going into this album as a beehiver. It feels like a fucking Marvel movie. If you don't fucking get it, you don't get it, bitch. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say.
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad.
She says that Blackbird is boring, and I think she wanted Beyonce to start like rapping on it or something like that, and that's crazy. That song is so delicate. It deserves a slight, a slight touch, not a big voice. And it's a very delicate song. I think she did country music the old way, country music the way they're doing it now, and then country music her way. I think that's my interpretation of this whole album, but that's just me. I really wish that Prince, Michael Jackson, and Tina Turner were here. I really miss the old guard, because Prince would have went absolutely buck wild for this. And can you imagine Prince on Act 3 on guitar? My head would explode. I think a lot of the older generation would love this album, because they are used to big bodies of work, long bodies of work. And I feel like I'm seeing Jolene in a different way now. You might be a Jolene or a Dolly. I think she's also singing about her mother, who was also cheated on. In the next song after Jolene, she's talking about she's beating up the woman. I think she's talking about her mother. You don't think that a lot of women are pissed off? They already went crazy on their husbands, but they're mad also at the woman. And we know that some women purposefully go after married or attached men, and of course that's on the men to like shoo them away. But some of these women like latch on to already taken men. That's like a sport for them. Like, it is an embarrassing song, and Jolene also is an embarrassing song. They're both embarrassing, because they both should be leaving the man, but they're not, because they're in love, and that's crazy. It is visceral. Anger is an emotion. Indignation is an emotion. And I wonder how many times she had to hear her mother crying because of her dad's infidelity, because she was ripping him to pieces in this album. He was catching some strays on this album, because she's still mad that her father betrayed her mother, as any child would be. But I am tired of the stink pieces. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it.
With her, but she was like, why does she keep making up that people are after Jay-Z? Like, no one wants your man.
I'm going to get to my main point about Jay-Z and the portion I'm stitching in a second, but first I want to say I disagree with this person's entire take about Cowboy Carter. It's an incredible album, and if it wasn't for you, like, it's for black people anyway, as Kev on stage says. Like, your album that tortured whatever comes out on the 19th. Have fun with it. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, we do something with Jay-Z we do with no other billionaires. We judge Jay-Z by his looks. And what we know is that so many millionaires and billionaires are not attractive men. They're old, decrepit, etc., but they have these young, attractive women around them. And we fundamentally understand that the wealth, power, status that comes with that much money makes them attractive to a specific type of woman. And so Jay-Z, who's one of the most accomplished artists of all time, who is incredibly wealthy, has incredible business acumen. Oh, and there's an addition of the fact that for so many people, the power of being able to say they took Beyonce's man makes him extremely attractive. And so when we judge him purely by his looks, we are bypassing the accomplishments that Jay-Z has made. But Beyonce sees it, she lives it, she's experiencing it, and she's trying to tell us this thing is happening. We want to be like, Jay-Z's so ugly. Like when Beyonce first met Jay-Z, she was enamored with him being Hove. Him being this number one hit after number one record. Like, that was part of the allure. And immediately I'm like, By looking at Jay-Z simply as Beyonce's husband and not looking at him for what he has accomplished from a business perspective, all that he has done, then we miss the fact that there is a reason why women are after him. That they've been after him his whole career. That he got Beyonce, and she's living that reality and singing accordingly. And if you can believe that Jeff Bezos cheated on his wife, and that somehow makes sense, that Jay-Z didn't, it tells me that you don't see Jay-Z in the same way. So leave that woman alone, let her tell her truth. Put some respect on Jay-Z's name, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I did not like Beyonce's album. If you're in the Beehive, scroll. This is just my opinion. No one has to get mad.
In the awesome words of Kev on stage, it's for black people anyway. I'm not from the Beehive. I'm actually in love with this album because it teaches of history. And as Kev has said, it's for black people anyway. This is an historical album. It is an album that talks, and when I say historical, I mean it is an album that asks you to delve into the history of country music. To me, as a country music fan, it isn't a straight up country music album. But however, it is country. It is a mixing. It's a beautiful hybrid. The lyrics are, especially the lyrics on Jolene, great. I'm a Jolene fan. I've loved Jolene since I was about 15. No, sorry, earlier, maybe 10. I'm a Dolly Parton fan. She honored Dolly Parton. It was just beautiful. And by the way, I have there's things I don't agree with about Beyonce that people love and certain things, but I finally started to say, oh my goodness, this woman is a genius. She wasn't making a country music album for you. She was making a country music first and foremost for black people, African Americans, for African Americans to learn their history. This is not about you. And if you are not able, after 2 days, and what I should say is this album is so deep that it takes more than one listen. It is so written in history. It's so about, hey, she has Miley Cyrus who stole twerking from the workers of gentleman clubs and other places and got credited for being the head twerker. And she had Miley Cyrus on this album, understanding that if you can steal from African Americans, then we can come and on your albums and we could join your genre. Sonic, you need to stop. Stop. Again, in the immortal words of Kev on stage, Kev on, it was not for you. It's for Black people first.
No one has to get.
You're going to want to sit this one out. As a fellow colored person, there is so much nuance and so much cultural and historical significance behind this album. Whether you find it melodically pleasing, lyrically pleasing or not, it's not an arena where what you think or what you feel about it matters in the least. There are plenty of people, Black people, white people, other people of color, who do care to educate themselves about the history and the significance and the impact that this album has and had. So you sharing your opinion in this way is a waste of breath, and I would suggest that you exit stage left.
Voice enough. It was kind of like.
So I'm gonna be honest. I feel like she was saying a lot of things without saying the things that she was meaning, but I do want to make a couple points. One, this album is not for you. This album is for a group of people who have felt like they cannot enter a space of music that they created. Two, she's talking about how it's going all over the place. If you maybe listened to what she said prior to it coming out, it was that she is reaching into history and pulling in all sorts of shit. And the whole genre switching thing does not mean that she was going to make a single genre album. Use your brain. Third, to disrespect her vocal range. Almost speechless.
So this is all I got from the stitches, and sincerely speaking, there are some things you can just not speak up on, especially when some certain things are not for you. I mean, it's okay. It is absolutely okay for everybody not to like Beyonce, right? But she is bringing back music to Black people this time around. And she did it in a great way, right? The fact that some people wake up every day or wake up to jump into some certain things, it's really crazy. I mean, you can choose to keep quiet, not talk about it, not jump into it. I mean, Grammy is how many months away, but some people are already trying to cancel her before that time, trying to give bad vibe, bad energy, and all of that. Like I keep saying it, a Black woman or a Black person will have to work double times, like more than her other counterparts, because she is working so hard to get there. But then some people are going to cancel your efforts. Some people are going to cancel your, everything you put into the song because they feel it's not for them. Forgetting that everything is not for them. Number one is that some people just want to be included in everything. They want to have a say in everything that is happening, probably not in their community, or as long as it is not someone that look like them, right? You are not doing great, you know? Now, Blackbird, if you check around, is dedicated, to Black women. You all already know during the civil rights movement era, and how does somebody wake up to call that song boring? Because what happened during civil rights, it's something people should really get to know and all that. But to her, it is boring because it is not for her. She cannot connect to it because the song is actually not for her. It is for people that look like me. And I think the problem is that she can actually not bother reviewing Beyonce's song because most of her songs are for us, for African America. Okay, if I say for us, I mean African Americans. But we are also allowed to tap into it, right? But this song was made specially. If you look at, if you listen, if you have read, just as CRT has really failed so many people that they do not know their history because they do not want them to know. Some of them do not even know what happened during civil rights movement, civil rights era, and all that. So how do you want them to comprehend? Because they were taught that CRT is very dangerous or African American history is very violent, right? So whitewash history. Some of them do not know anything about that. So I think she should go and review Taylor Swift, right? And so Ariana Gray, right? If I'm not mistaken, and a whole lot of them. She should go and review all that song and leave Beyonce alone because she put up a whole lot of work. Number one is that the song has not even marinated because the song came out a few days ago, right? And to her, she has already canceled the song that it does not deserve to win Album of the Year. Whew, really, pan-colored people just really want to be everywhere. And they just want to be the center of attraction. They want to, they want to be included in everything. And so when they are not included, they are really going wild. They are really going crazy, That's why they send a lot of people that look like me, black men, some are in incarcerations, just due to their white tears and all that. So for her to calling Blackbird boring is crazy, and it's considering the heavy history behind it. And when you listen to Blackbird, where she's singing in the dead of the night, take these broken wings, learn to fly, all of your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. Just go up, do your thing, fly like eagle. And somebody said it's boring. She wasn't talking about it. She was telling black people to arise because they have been waiting for, how long they've been waiting for that moment? For that moment to arise. You know how long it took them to get that? Civil rights. Do you know how long it took them? It took them a whole lot of time. They fought so hard for it. So if you do not understand the song, if you do not know anything about the song, if you do not understand African American history, I am sorry, I cannot help you to understand the song. So all I can say right away is go and review Taylor Swift's song and the rest of them, leave Beyonce out of your mouth. Thank you all so much for the support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.